Okay, hello everyone. Thank you all for joining us. Hi, we'll just wait a few minutes for the webinar to officially start. Thank you all for joining us today, everyone. So my name is Kieran. Please let me know in the chat, guys, where you're joining us from today. Yeah, feel free to say hi, everyone. Tell us where you're all joining us from in the chats. Hi. Hi, everyone. So, hi from Macedonia, okay? Please say hi, everyone in the chat. Tell us where you're joining us from today. Libya, Vietnam, Morocco, Indonesia, lots of places. Cambodia, Ghana, Nigeria, okay. Good. Can everyone hear me okay? Let me know if you can hear my voice okay, if I need to change the microphone. Yeah, good. Okay, hi everyone. I can see people are joining us from Philippines, Sudan, Nigeria, Pakistan, Lebanon, yep, United States, Iran, okay. Good, everyone. So we'll start in a few minutes, okay, everyone? And if you have any questions throughout the webinar, you can either write your question in the chat or in the Q&A box, okay? If you have a question, write it in the Q&A box, and I'll try and answer all of your questions at the end, okay? Or you can use the chat as well. If you use the chat, I might miss your questions, so maybe the Q&A is better because then I can definitely see it. That's okay, everyone. So, yeah, I'll try and take all of your questions at the end and one or two throughout. So we'll just wait 1 or 2 minutes for everyone to join us today, okay? So, hi, welcome everyone. Hi to everyone who's just joined in the last minute or two. I can see we've been joined by people from Mongolia, Nigeria, India, Turkey, Algeria, South Korea, Saudi Arabia, Vietnam, Korea, Czech Republic, Iran, Azerbaijan, UAE, lots of places, great. Well, my name is Kieran. So I'm originally from London and I'm now living in Spain, okay? So, hi, nice to meet you all, everyone. Okay, so let's begin our webinar, everyone. As I said at the start, if you have any questions, please either put them in the chat or even better, in the Q&A, okay? If you put them in the Q&A, then I can definitely see them for the whole hour, okay? So I'm going to share my screen with you and then we can begin today's presentation. Okay, guys, so let's just share this now and make sure I've got the sound on, of course. Okay, let me know if you can all see my screen, guys. It should say IELTS reading, and that's today's topic. Can we all see this one? I think it's just loading. I'll try and keep the chat up here. Good. Okay, and I'll try and take a few of you to speak as well. Yeah, it's just loading. I can see that. Here we go. Good. Okay, so today we are looking at how to do an IELTS reading exam. Now, we've got two different types of exam, haven't we? We've got our academic and we've got our general. But for both exams, you're going to need the same kind of skills, the same type of skills, which is how to answer true, false, and not given questions, and how to match different headings to different paragraphs, okay? Whatever reading exam you do, you will need these 3 reading skills, okay? The 3 key reading skills that we're going to talk about in today's lecture. So we're going to understand how you skim a text for general understanding, how you can start to answer true or false or not given questions, okay? and how to match up different headings, how to tackle these matching headings questions. Okay, so I said there are 3 different skills. In the reading for IELTS, you won't have the time to read every single word carefully. It will take too long, unless you're a very fast reader. So you need to choose a reading skill, the right reading skill to use at different times and for different questions. So what kind of reading skills are there? What are the 3 different ways that you can read a text? What 3 ways are there? Tell me in the chat, guys. What are the 3 different ways you can read a text? We've got skimming, skim reading. That's number 1. Scanning, to scan a text. That's number 2. And then lastly, number 3, we have careful reading. 3 different ways you can read a text, okay? To skim a text, to scan a text, and to read a text carefully. Now, we'll talk about what those 3 are in detail. So, often, we won't just use one, you might use a combination of these skills to try and answer most of the questions. Therefore, before you start to answer the questions, it's useful to just generally skim through the whole passage and the questions as well, and to get an idea of the general meaning of the text. Okay, what is it about? If it's a newspaper article, what is the story? Okay, if it's an advert, what are they promoting? Yeah, if it's a letter, what is the letter about? Is it about a visit? Okay, so get an idea of the general meaning. Now, once we've done this, let's have a look. Skimming for general meaning. First thing we're going to do, just spend 2 or 3 minutes reading quickly both the text and the questions. And this will help you to find important, exact, specific information later on, okay? So let's look at some examples for you. The title and the headings. So take this text here, okay? What is the topic? What is the main idea? What is the topic of this text here? What's the main idea here, everyone, of the text? It can be a bit more specific than just history or historiography. Ancient Chinese chariots. Yeah, that's the topic. We know that because it's at the top. It's in a bigger font. Sometimes they're in the middle. Sometimes they are bold. That is the main topic. We're going to read about chariots in ancient China. Okay. Next, we want to skim the questions. Notice the question type. What do I mean here? The type of question is either yes or no, or not given, or it will be true or false, or not given. Okay, we'll come back to that in a second. Then we want to underline keywords in the questions. We're thinking here of names, of dates, of places, maybe special vocabulary, unusual nouns, things that you don't normally see. Important key information. So number 1, for example, we're probably looking at the written records of grave goods. Okay, the fact that they were discovered, that's not really important, is it? When they were discovered. The fact that they are written records, that's quite important, because how else do we know about the past of these tombs? We have to look at the writing. And then what was actually in them? Grave goods. Yeah, we're talking about the things that were put in the graves. So those are the 2 most important there. What about number 2? What are the key words in 2, do you think? What do you all think are the keywords in number 2? Skeletons, some people are saying. Soldiers. Some interesting ideas, everyone. So the skeletons, what was actually in the tomb? That's quite important. And which tomb? We've got a name, haven't we? Maybe the question will have something about different tombs. What did they find in tomb 1? What did they find in tomb 2, tomb 3, something like this? So having a name, that's quite important, isn't it? Okay. Now, number 3, the Terracotta Army. That's probably the most important part there, isn't it? What was actually discovered? The people doing the discovering, not as important. Okay? But the actual thing they discovered, Terracotta Army, that's quite important. And then number 4, we're comparing something, aren't we? If you look here, we've got a little comparative figure. But what are we comparing? We're comparing the Chinese tomb to the Egyptian tomb. So those two are quite important names, aren't they? Okay. Next strategy. Skim the topic sentences and then highlight some key words. Okay, so what is a topic sentence? You can tell me, what is a topic sentence? I'm going to take some people to speak now. Okay, guys. So I'll just lower your hands. And what is a topic sentence? You can tell me. A topic sentence. What do we mean by that? Okay, hi.
Hello.
Oh, hello. What do we mean by a topic sentence? No, okay. Hi. Hi, Iman. What's the topic sentence?
Hello, Jim.
Hi. So what's this
Yes,
topic sentence? What do you mean by that?
It is in the first line, in the first paragraph.
Yeah, it's usually the first line, isn't it? Thank you. And it tells us what the main paragraph is about. Okay, so here it's going to be about the Shang dynasty. Yeah, and where they ruled around the Yellow River Valley. Maybe when they ruled as well, the second millennium. Okay, so now we know that the rest of the paragraph is going to be information about the Shang dynasty, maybe about things that they have found from the dynasty. And then we look on, we got some examples, haven't we? Examples of things we found from this dynasty. So the ancient capital, the royal tombs, palaces, places where they did rituals, okay? So we got the topic sentence at the beginning that explains what the paragraph is about, and then some examples. So have a look at the topic sentences and identify what those are about, and then highlight the keywords from those. Yep. So the first one, as we said, that's a topic sentence, and maybe some keywords like where it is, yeah, the name of a tomb, maybe a date. Okay. For B, a topic sentence. This one's about a tomb, a special tomb. Okay, so now we've got 2 different tombs. That will help us with the questions. Ah, but it's also within the same city. Okay. And another keyword, grave goods. Well, that's in the question, isn't it? There's a question about grave goods, and then right here we've seen the words grave goods. Okay, so we can already start to match some of the ideas. Okay. And then a good idea is to summarize the main idea of each paragraph into your own words. Okay. So for example, the main idea of paragraph A is about the tombs from the Shang dynasty. Yeah, we've got the Shang dynasty here, and then we're talking about the royal tombs. Okay, so the main idea of A is the Shang dynasty. Yeah. What is the main idea of paragraph B, do we think? I'm going to take some people to speak, okay? What do we think is the main idea in paragraph B? Okay, hi. Hi there, can you hear us? What do you think is the main idea in paragraph B?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, yes.
Well, I think the summary of the main idea of paragraph B is the geographical location of town Fuhao in China.
Good one, thank you. So we've got the tomb of Fu Hao. Maybe you'd include where it is. Yeah, it's also in Anyang. Yeah, maybe a dynasty. Okay, maybe the fact that it contains certain goods within the tomb. Maybe we don't have to say what they are, just grave goods. So we've got an idea now of what each paragraph is mostly about. Okay, let me just clear these. Let's have a look at paragraph C. So our topic sentence here is at the start. This is about the Terracotta Army. Okay, the rest of the paragraph will have more information about the Terracotta Army. Yeah, this is the main idea of the paragraph. Now, from our questions, can you see any of the key words? Let's go back to our questions quickly, everyone. Can you see any of those keywords? 1, 2, 3, or 4. Ah, here, Terracotta Army. Yeah, Terracotta Army. And then we go forward to number 3. There, Terracotta Army. Yeah, there it is. So already we've seen direct words from the questions in the paragraphs. That's going to help us. And there's also here about some emperors. And Tutankhamun. Okay. So what do we think is the main idea of this paragraph? Have a read for a second, everyone. What is the main idea of this paragraph here? I'm going to have a look through the chat, everyone. It's about the Terracotta Army. When it was discovered, about the room, some people are saying. The remains, the army, lots of people are saying. Oh, yeah, it's generally about the Terracotta Army, isn't it? We got information. So where they were found, where it is, how many things were there, and what the purpose of it was. And then we're having a little comparison with a different tomb, aren't we? Okay, good. Let's just rub all these out. So, skimming for general meaning. When do we use it? Right at the start, the first 2 or 3 minutes. You just want to generally skim the text, try and find some of those keywords, try and find some of those topic sentences, and to help you identify which paragraph should roughly go with which questions. Okay? It gives you the main idea of the passage, gives you the main idea of each paragraph. Now, how do we use it? So, first of all, we start with the title and the headings. Yeah. Then you skim over the questions. You want to notice the question type. Is it a yes or no question, or is it a true or false question? Yeah. Underline your keywords, things like names, places, and dates, and then try and find those keywords in the topic sentences and the paragraphs more generally. Highlight the keywords in those two. Okay. You don't have to read every single word carefully. You're just skimming at the beginning, skimming for general meaning. So you have a rough idea of what each paragraph is about and where each paragraph might answer a certain question. Okay. Now, let's have a look at true, false, or not given questions here. Okay, so we have true if the statement is true, and false if the statement is false, and then not given if there is no information on this subject, on this topic in the passage. Okay. How is this kind of a question, true, false, not given? How is that different to yes or no or not given? How different do you think? How is true or false different from yes or no type questions? You think they're the same? True or false are statements. Yeah, we're getting there. Questions versus statements are getting there. True or false tend to be facts. Okay, they tend to be information. They are facts. Okay. Yes or no tends to be more your opinion. Yeah. Does the author like the book? Yes or no? Well, that's an opinion, isn't it? But was the tomb discovered in 1900? Well, that's just a fact. Either it was discovered in 1900 or it wasn't. It's not a like, it's not a preference, it's not an opinion, is it? So yes or no tend to be more opinion ones, and true or false tend to be facts and information. Okay? So let's just rub this one out. Okay. So what should we be writing on our answer sheets? If it's a true or false or not given question, then you have to write those words, true or false or not given. If you write yes or no, then you will lose marks. Okay, you have to be very careful. Is it a yes or no or not given question, or a true or false or not given question? Okay, good. Let's carry on, guys. So we want to use the key words in the questions to very quickly find the correct part, the right part of the text to focus on. So we found our keywords, haven't we? Written records, grave goods for number 1, human skeletons, and Anyang tomb for number 2, and so on, yeah? And as you underline them, think of synonyms. What is a synonym? Help me out, guys. What is a synonym? Who can tell me? What do we mean by a synonym? Okay, yeah, thank you, Sonia. Yeah, lots of other people true as well. A word with the same or very similar meaning. Exactly. So let's just think for a minute. What could some synonyms be for our key words here? For example, a synonym for human skeletons, we might have bones, we might have human remains. Yeah, what are some other synonyms we could have here? What about written records? What could be a synonym for written records, do we think? Have a think. Some different ways of saying written records. Scriptures, possibly. So fossils tend to be the remains of animals, I think. So that's not quite the one we're looking for there. This is an old record of writing, isn't it? Maybe scrolls, perhaps? This is very old writing, isn't it? Yeah, I think files and newspaper are a bit too modern. We're talking about ancient China, aren't we? Same with words like transcript. We want words that mean an old piece of writing, don't we? Here, maybe papyrus. Yeah, that's a really old form of paper. Papyrus, maybe just records. Yeah, maybe archives. Yeah, that's a good one. Archives. List, possibly. Yeah. Good. Okay. What about grave goods? So all the things that were buried with the person. What would be another way of saying grave good? It's another word for goods. Personal items, maybe, yeah. That's a good one, Cecilia. Personal items. Contents, yeah, that's a good one. Contents, maybe just things, yeah. I talk about the things buried with someone. Maybe artifacts, yeah. These are all good. Personal items, yeah. Treasures, maybe. That's quite a good one. Personal items, personal effects is quite a good one. Treasure, yeah, some good ideas, everyone. Okay. Now, a name. We don't really have another way of saying a name, do we? King Tutankhamun. Maybe we'd say Pharaoh. Yeah. Okay, some good ideas here, everyone. So we've identified some synonyms that we might come across. Okay. Now, scanning for keywords. So let's start with question 1. When discovered, the written records of the grave goods proved to be accurate. So we want to scan through the text and look for these keywords, looking for either written records or for grave goods. So can we see them anywhere? In paragraph A or paragraph B? Written records, grave goods. You can find the right sentence for me. So if we look at paragraph B, we have the exact words, grave goods, and written records, don't we? Down here, grave goods and written records. So we found some written records of what was in the tombs. The people had a look at the tombs and everything that was written down. Oh, there are bone objects, there are 40 pieces of jade, there are 17 bronze shields. Yep, all those things are there. So the written record and the grave goods, that matches up, doesn't it? Okay. So now we read the question very carefully to understand the meaning. Okay. When discovered, the written records of the grave goods were accurate, they were correct. So we read the passage carefully to see if the information is the same. Okay, so the grave goods were confirmed and accurate. That's kind of the same, isn't it? That's a synonym. Therefore, it's true. Yep. The question asks, were the records correct? Were they accurate? And now in this paragraph, it says grave goods were confirmed. So yes, it is true. Number 1 goes with B and it's true. Okay. Let's have a look at paragraph A now. So can we find the key words here? So we're looking out for human skeletons and anyang. Can we find those? Just see what everyone's putting in the chat. Yeah, confirm is accurate. Good. We've got the right idea. Okay. So it's false. How do we know it's false? Okay, we've got the and yang up the top here, but that's in both parts, isn't it? So it's not that one. What we're looking at for is the fact that the human skeletons in the tomb were soldiers. Now, why is it false? Were they actually soldiers? Okay, I'm going to take someone to speak. Okay, so let's just remove this one. Okay. So who were the skeletons actually of? Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Who did the skeletons? Who were they? Who did the skeletons belong to?
There were dog skeletons,
Yeah, there were 6 sacrificial dogs and
and there were also the human skeletons of the slaves.
slaves. That's exactly it. Thank you. Well done. So it's not soldiers, is it? As it says in the top, it's slaves. Yet we found the human skeletons part. The human skeletons down here, skeletons of humans. We're just rephrasing it, but they were not soldiers. They were slaves. Therefore, it must be false. Yep, so we're starting to see how we understand this kind of question, yeah? Okay. Let's carry on. Oh, yes. And as well as the fact that they were not soldiers, they were slaves, we've got the purpose, why they were killed, yeah? So it says here that they were killed in a war, but in the actual paragraph, it doesn't talk about a war, does it? It talks about the practice of human sacrifice. Maybe it was some kind of ritual, maybe some kind of religious ritual, yeah? So it wasn't because they were killed in a war, it's because of human sacrifice. More proof that this is false. Okay. Let me just erase these. Okay, good. Let's carry on. Oh, one more. Okay, so number 3 now. The Terracotta Army. So we've identified the keyword in the question, Terracotta Army. We found that in paragraph C down here. Okay. So next, we see that the information is in the same order as the questions, yeah, in the passage. So we just carry on. Directly scanning. Okay. So terracotta army, and then straight after we've got terracotta soldiers. That's a synonym, isn't it? Okay, so we know we're already in the right part for the reading. This kind of section here at the top, just underneath the topic sentence. Okay. The answer is likely to be here in this section. Terracotta army, terracotta soldiers. Okay. You don't have to read the whole paragraph to know that the answer is going to be in the first little section here. Yeah, that saves you time. Now, you want to read the question carefully, again, to understand the meaning, and then read the passage carefully, just for these few lines here, and check if the information is the same. Okay, so the Terracotta Army was discovered by people who lived nearby by chance. Well, that could be either the fact that it was by chance, so they didn't really know what they were finding, or maybe it could be the fact that they lived nearby. Yeah, it could be either of those things. So let's have a read through the paragraph and see what we can find. Okay. So do we have any proof that they lived nearby? Does the paragraph say anything about them living nearby? Good. Yes, local farmers. That's the key passage there, isn't it? Local farmers. Local, they're the same as live nearby. Good. And do we have any proof that they found it by chance? Yeah, by chance. Does it say anything about they're deliberately looking? Were they trying to find it? What does it say here about chance? Who can tell me? What 2 words does it say that tell you they found it by chance? Hi. Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike, you with us? Okay. Can I see some fresh hands, please, guys? How do we know that the local people, the farmers, found the terracotta army by chance? How do we know that? Okay, hi.
The keyword is accidentally.
Yes, excellent. Accidentally, that's exactly the right word. Thank you. The fact that they found it accidentally, not on purpose. Yeah, that's the one that we want there. Good. Okay, so this one, it must be true. We know it's true because we've got the keywords local farmers or live nearby and accidentally for by chance. There they are, yeah. Okay. Let's rub these out. Now, I'll just see if anyone's got any questions. I'll try and answer all your questions at the end, everyone. But maybe I can take 1 or 2 now, okay? If you have any questions, please put them in the chat or in the Q&A. Okay. Right. Okay, and number 4 then. The size of King Tutankhamun's tomb is bigger than that of the Qin Emperor's tomb. So can we see some keywords here? Well, straight after local farmers, we have here the Emperor. And then if we read a little bit later on, we have Tutankhamun. Oh, okay, so it's still on this paragraph. Okay, let's carry on. So it's in the bottom half of the paragraph, isn't it? Okay, so let's read the question very carefully. We're comparing 2 different tombs, aren't we? One from China, one from Egypt. And we're asking if the size of the tomb is bigger. Yet we're not talking about how many things are buried there. We're not talking about what they were made of, whether it's gold or jade. It's simply talking about the size of the tomb. Size bigger. So have a read of the paragraph, guys. Does it talk about the size of the tomb? Does it talk about the size of the tomb there, do you think? It's not given. Yeah. It's not given. There is no information about the size of the 2 tombs in comparison, is there? So it's not a true or false, it's a not given. There is no information. And that's what we mean by not given. I can see someone asked that in the Q&A. What's the difference between not given and no, or not given false? Let's have a look. Yes, we have all 3 answers. Yep, throughout the text, you'll see true and false and not given. This one is a not given, and we've already had 1 false, haven't we? So you can see here that there is information, okay, about the number of soldiers in the tombs. There's information about chariots in the tombs, but there is not information about the size of the tombs. It doesn't say the terracotta army tomb was 1 kilometer wide, whereas the Tutankhamun tomb was 6 kilometers wide. Yeah, That way, we have a clear comparison. We have a true or false, but we don't have that information, so it's just a not given. How do we know? Well, let's look at the key info. Yeah, we've got information about the soldiers, about the chariots, but not about the size. There's no information about the size. Therefore, it's not given. Let's do a counterexample for you. Okay, so I'll put some text here. Let's say King Tut's tomb was 5 times bigger than the Qin Emperor's tomb. That would be a very clear true, wouldn't it? We're talking about the size and it's 5 times bigger. Yeah. Now, if I said it was 5 times smaller, well, that would be false, wouldn't it? Because now we know that the text says the tomb was 5 times smaller, but it doesn't say either of those things. It talks about chariots. So the information is not given. Okay, the passage compares the number of soldiers and the chariots, but not the size of the tombs. Okay. So let's review how to answer these true, false, and not given questions. Let's follow these important steps. So number 1, you want to underline, let's move this, underline the key words in the question. Number 2, scan the passage to find keywords and some of their synonyms. Yeah, words that have the same or similar meaning. So skeleton, bones. Yep, tomb artifacts, tomb goods. And read the question carefully to understand the exact meaning. Are they making a comparison here? Are they looking for an exact name or a date? Are they saying one thing is bigger or smaller than another? Are they saying the purpose, why the things were put there? Was it for a human sacrifice, or was it because they were killed in a war? Were they soldiers or were they slaves? Yep. Then read the passage carefully to check the meaning and decide if it's true or false or not given. And you can start scanning as soon as you've read the part of the last answer. You don't have to read the whole paragraph all over again. You don't have to go back to the beginning and start reading all over again. You can just start from the location of your last answer. Yeah. Otherwise, you'll just reread it 5, 6, 7 times and you'll run out of time. So just start reading, start scanning again at the location of your most recent answer. Okay. Now be careful. Sometimes they'll try and trick you. They'll throw in a not. Yeah, they'll throw in a negative, a not or a never. That can reverse the meaning of the text. Yeah. The tomb was never filled with soldiers. You see soldiers, oh great, but it actually says never filled. Yeah. Or maybe they'll use a modifier or a frequency word. Maybe the question will say something always, and then in the actual text it will say rarely. Yep. Or maybe the question will say it was always something, and then there'll be a modifying word like it was a little, it was quite, it was sometimes. Yeah. So look out for those kinds of modifiers, frequency words that can change the meaning of a text. Not, never, any of those adverbs of frequency like always, rarely, sometimes. Yeah, those ones. Modifiers like quite, a little, any of those. Okay. Put those up there. What else have we got? Check if it's a true or false or a yes or no, and make sure you only write those ones. True or false, not given questions, true or false. Yeah. Yes or no, or not given questions, yes or no. You will lose marks if you write in the wrong category. Okay. So we got some questions about the 5th point. Yeah. Okay, so let's go back a little bit. Okay, so we have question 3, which is about the Terracotta Army, yeah. And then we have question 4. Let's go on a little bit. Question 4, which is about the size of King Tutankhamun's tomb. Yeah, so 1 paragraph, 2 questions. So the first question was this bit here, yeah. That goes with question number 3. And then the next part was related to question number 4. So when you're doing your scan reading, if you've answered question number 3, you don't have to read that part again. Yeah, you can automatically start from the next bit here. Yeah. Otherwise, every time you answer a question, you go right back to the beginning, either of the paragraph or the whole text, and it's just going to take you far, far too long. Okay, so you can just go from where the answer was from the last question here. Yeah. You don't have to reread the whole text, you just go on from where you stopped. Okay, that's what we meant there by point 5. Okay, that's what we meant by point 5, which was, just trying to skip through it quickly. Start scanning at the location in the text of the last answer. Okay. All right, let's move on, guys, to some of our headings. So we've got to do a matching of headings, haven't we? You're going to have a passage with 6 paragraphs, okay? And you've got some different headings. And you've got to choose the best heading for each paragraph. Now, what do we notice first of all? There are 6 paragraphs in your answer sheet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and they're labeled A, B, C, D, E. But if you look at the list of headings, how many have we got? We have 8 headings. So 8 headings, only 6 paragraphs. So going to be 2 you do not need. Now notice as well that they use these little symbols here. They use Roman numerals. Yeah, just the way that the ancient Romans used to count. So we have I for 1, I for 2, I for 3, V for 4, sorry, V for 5, and so on and so on. And that's what you need to write down in your answer sheet. Okay, so here, for example, it might be V. Here might be, I don't know, VI. Here, II. Yeah, if you want to choose the heading to match the paragraph. Okay, guys. So yeah, here's some more examples for you down here. Yep. Okay, let's carry on, guys. First of all, we want to skim through the headings, okay, and then skim through each paragraph 1 by 1. Don't read the whole text, read paragraph A first, then paragraph B, and then so on. Each paragraph, you want to summarize the main idea of the paragraph into your own words. Okay, so let's have a look at these 2 paragraphs here. What is the main idea of each one? I should say, by the way, a bittern is a rare type of bird. Okay, a bittern. So what is the main idea, guys, of paragraph A? What's the main idea? So I think the main idea here, okay, is that there are changing numbers of these birds, okay? They nearly became extinct, but now we're starting to get some more of these birds again. That's the main idea of paragraph A, okay? but numbers have risen. What about paragraph B? What's the main idea there? What do we think? The main idea in paragraph B. I think it's the methods here, how they find the number of birds. Yeah, because if we look here, it then talks about lots of methods, like listening to the sound pattern, okay, like finding its distinctive feathers, like listening to the male during mating season, during breeding season. Okay. Now, what else can we do? Look at the first sentence and the last sentence. Why? Well, the first sentence is usually our topic sentence, isn't it? Which gives us the main idea of the paragraph. And then the last sentence is usually quite important. It will be a good example, or it will be a connecting sentence that leads on to the next paragraph. And once we've done that, check the list of the headings and try and find the closest match. Okay, the closest match for the main idea. Okay. If you're not sure, just move on to the next paragraph. If you're not sure about paragraph A, go on to paragraph B, yeah? Okay. So what do we think is the best one for paragraph A? I can see lots of you have been saying in the chat. Yeah, I'm just going to lower everyone's hands and try and take some people to speak. What is the best match for paragraph A, do we think? Okay, hi, what do you think is the best match for A?
Well, sir, it's number second, fluctuation in beta numbers.
I think number 2. Exactly right. Yeah, 2 or II, fluctuations in their numbers. Why is that, everyone? Well, if we have a look here, we're talking about how they nearly became extinct. So they had nearly 0. Yep. Where has my pen gone? Nearly 0. But following recolonization, the numbers were reintroduced into the UK. Yep, so they put the birds back in the UK, and then the numbers rose. It says here, numbers rose to a peak of 70, but then they fell to fewer than 20 by the 1990s. Okay, so from 0 in the UK, or nearly 0 worldwide, to about 70, and then back down to 20. That is a synonym, isn't it, for a fluctuation. Fluctuation means a change, doesn't it? Fluctuation here. Let me just try and get my pen. Fluctuation means a change in number, doesn't it? Up and down, and up and down, and up and down. So there were bitterns in the UK before the 1880s, and then they were extinct by 1886. And then by the 1950s, there were 70. And then by the 1990s, there were 20. So fluctuations in their numbers. That must be the right one. Okay, good. How about paragraph B, everyone? Paragraph B, what do we think? Okay, hi. What do you think paragraph B is?
Hello, do you hear me?
Yes, hi.
Yes, hi. I think the answer is V, beginning to calculate the numbers.
Yes, good. Yeah, number 5, V, beginning to calculate numbers. How do we know it's that one? Well, what phrases have we got for calculating numbers? Yeah, we got monitor, talking about methods of counting. Yeah, synonyms for calculating numbers. Okay. Also, if you look beginning, so you're talking about the start of calculating, they're talking about their first challenge. Yeah, another synonym. Yeah, what they did at the start to try and count the numbers of the birds. Good, everyone. Okay. Let's try and carry on. Let me just undo my drawings there. Okay, so let's look at C and D now. What do you think the best match is for paragraph C? Some different answers in the chat. Okay, yeah. So for paragraph C, it's number 1, it's I. Research findings into the habitats and the decisions that were made. What's the key sentence here? Tell me in the chat, everyone. What is the key sentence that tells us it's number 1? Yeah. Yeah, good answers, everyone. We've got the exact words, haven't we? Habitats here, habitats here. Okay. Also, if we look later on, we're talking about the decisions that were made. Here we've got recommendations. Yeah, recommendations. Okay. Let's carry on. Now, what about paragraph D? What do you think paragraph D might be? I'm going to take some hands. Which one do you think for paragraph D? Not sure, I can't see any hands. Some ideas in the chat. So that would be number 7. Yeah, VII 7. Research into the reed bed. Why do you think it might be that one? Research into the reed bed. Well, we've got the exact same words, haven't we? Reed bed several times. Yeah, and we're also talking about research, aren't we? So how they investigated the area. They tracked the birds. They did research. They saw how they fed there. They followed them. Okay, research into the reed bed. Okay, good. So we've done 4 paragraphs. Let's have a look at paragraphs E and F, our final 2. Remember, there are 2 headings that we do not need. Okay. What do we think about paragraph E, everyone? Paragraph E. So if you're saying 6, the importance of food, that's exactly right. How do we know it should be number 6? We're talking about diets. Yeah, talking about what they eat, talking about starvation, how important the food is. Yeah, at the bottom it talks about fish. Okay, so it must be the importance of food. Now, the last one, paragraph F. What do we think? What do you think about paragraph F? Tell me in the chat, guys. Some good ideas. Remember, we can't use the same one again. Yeah, we've already used 1, 2, 5, 6, and 7. It's number 3. Okay. If we look here, we're using some of the same words again, young and young. Okay, we're also looking for words that mean the same as protect. Okay, can we see a word here for protecting? Maybe secure, maybe suitable sites, yeah, so somewhere for them to live. Maybe the fact that it will be less vulnerable. Okay, so that's protecting. They'll be less vulnerable. Okay, good. Well done, everyone. And this is a picture of the bittern that we just been talking about, this bird that's been reintroduced to the UK. Okay, so quickly, let's review then how to match up the headings. Some steps for you when you're answering the questions. Number one, skim through the headings. Then skim through each paragraph one by one. Try and summarize the main idea of the paragraph in your own words. Okay, it's a good idea to focus on the first sentence, which is usually your topic sentence, and then the last sentence, which will maybe summarize the main paragraph or be a linking sentence to the next idea of the next paragraph. Check the list of your headings for the closest match. So is it about food? Is it about habitat, for example? And choose a heading that matches not a little detail, but the main idea. Okay. One of your paragraphs might mention the word fish, but if the whole paragraph is not about food and diet and the importance of food, then it's probably not that one. Choose a heading that matches the main idea, the topic sentence. Okay. And if you're not sure, again, just move on to the next paragraph and then come back. Because if you answer some of the other questions, that will help you to eliminate them. Then instead of there being maybe 6 or 7 potential ones, you'll have 3 or 4 to choose from. Okay. Now, if you are interested in practicing your speaking, Integrate offers a speaking test live service that you might be interested in. So what happens? You schedule your test, you choose a time that's good for you. You then take a speaking test. This will be a 30-minute test. It's one-on-one with a speaking examiner. There'll be a qualified IELTS examiner, okay? And then they will write a report for you, and they'll give you both some feedback after the test and a written report. And the written report will give you an actual band score and suggestions for improvement, what you can do to improve your speaking, okay? So it'll be a whole 30-minute test. You get feedback straight after the test and a written report, and the written report will have both your band score and some ways that you can improve. So if you're interested in doing this speaking test live, this is the kind of written report that you would get. It gives you your band scores down here, and for all the different areas, your fluency, for your grammar, pronunciation, how well you answered the question, your vocabulary, and some tips for improvement over here, okay? If you're interested, here are some good links for you, okay? Just go to the Integrate website, okay? Especially the premium services part here. And if you're interested in any of our premium services like writing or speaking, that's the place to go. So for the last part of the webinar, let's look through a few of these questions, shall we? Any final questions? So, okay, the last steps in matching. Let's go back, shall we? So the last few steps in matching. Okay. So choose a heading that matches the main idea. Okay. So if we go back to the last paragraph, say, what are the main ideas in paragraph F? It's the fact that we're trying to help the young birds, the young bitterns, and we're trying to help them to survive in new areas. Yeah, how to protect them. So places where the conditions are suitable, how we can secure the population, how they can breed successfully. That's the main idea of paragraph F, right? It's how to protect the young birds. All we mean here is don't focus on a little detail. A little detail would be like the birds are radio tagged. That's not important. That's a minor detail. Okay, and if we look at the questions, it does not mention anything about radio, does it? Radio, no. What it talks about is the young birds are protecting them. So try and look for the main idea and not for a small detail. That's all we mean there. Okay. Now, I think a few people weren't quite sure earlier about number 5. Let's go back to number 5. Okay, in the true or false. Always start scanning at the location of the last answer. And I think someone put it quite nicely in the Q&A. Where was that? Andil said we have to start from where we left from. Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. That's all you have to do. That's all that number 5 means. Okay, it just means you don't have to go back to the beginning. You just start from where you left off. Okay, if you got paragraph 1 here and paragraph 2 here and paragraph 3 here, and you've looked at paragraph 1 and you looked at paragraph 2, then don't start with those. Start from where you left off. Start paragraph 3. Okay, the location of the answer. That's all it means. Okay. Any more questions, guys? Speaking. So if you have a look at the website, it's got all the different costs. Okay, so it's the Integrate website for online IELTS and then the premium services. Okay, so I'll just skip to that one right at the end for you, so you can write down the websites. So these ones here. Okay, and that's got all the information that you'll need, including prices. Okay. All right, well, thank you very much, everyone. I hope I answered all of your questions and you learned a lot from today's webinar. Let's see, the last steps in matching the headings. Yes, let's go back to those for you so you can write them down if you want. The headings, there we go. Thank you very much for joining us, everyone. Thank you for joining us from so many different places all around the world. Thank you for your questions and for your answers. I hope this gave you some good strategies to help you approach the reading, both for matching the headings and how to answer those true or false questions. Okay. Good luck, everyone, with your IELTS exams and with your English speaking practice and your reading practice. Please get in touch if you have any questions or you want any further services, including those speaking tests. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. Thank you very much, everyone. So my name is Kieran. I'm joining you today from Spain. Thank you very much for joining us, everyone. And I'll hopefully see you all at the next webinar. So I believe there's one this very Thursday and then one next Monday. Okay. Good. Thanks very much, everyone. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day or evening or morning. Hopefully see you soon. Okay. Thanks, everyone. And bye for now.